Hey, I'm Nick Boy and welcome to Pocket for Wednesday, the 10th of February. Today on the show, no more game trailers, but heaps of collectibles. That seems like a fair trade. Alright, here's what's been making headlines. Amazon came out last night to remind the world that they're super serious about video games. The company announced their very own 3D game engine called Lumberyard. Available right now in the US, the engine is free on PC, PS4 and Xbox One, and Amazon plan to bring in mobile and VR support in the next few months. Hopefully with some other regions too, because Aussie devs love free tools as well, Amazon. The engine is based on Crytek's CryEngine, which sheds new light on why Amazon bailed out and acquired Crytek last year for a sum reportedly between 50 and 70 million US dollars. Amazon has also integrated the engine with Amazon Web Services, which is their cloud computing branch, and they've got built-in Twitch support to help developers optimize and customize their games to work better for streaming. And this kind of mass expansion bodes well for a company that operates their own fleet of private drones, with absolutely no government oversight. Ex-BioWare writer David Gaider has joined Beamdog as their creative director. Beamdog are a small studio which are best known for their work on the enhanced editions of Baldur's Gate and its sequel. When Gaider applied for the position of senior writer at the studio, they quickly bumped him up to the director's chair, where he will lead the studio's writing team on all future projects. Gaider has credits as a writer on Baldur's Gate 2, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and the entirety of the Dragon Age series. According to new research from digital security firm Symantec, Hearthstone may have been compromised by malicious software. Attackers have been using third-party software which promises add-ons and cheats, but instead can infiltrate the user's computer and access their webcam, log their keystrokes, and steal their passwords. Cheaters beware. If you are trying to ruin the game for everybody else, your privacy may be compromised. So maybe don't. In beta news, the closed beta for Overwatch recommenced today after a 2-month hiatus. Along with bringing the game back online, Blizzard announced that a new wave of accounts will be given access, except for John's, and that they will receive email verification shortly. And the open beta for The Division will arrive on the 19th of November on PC and PS4, and a day earlier for Xbox One. If you missed out on accessing the closed beta, the weekend-long open beta will be your last chance to check out the game for freezies before it launches on the 8th of March. The download for the beta on most platforms is around 27 gig. I'm joined now by Goose Game to discuss our final news story. GameTrailers shuttered its doors for the final time overnight. Since 2002, the site had been a hub for game content online and was for many the go-to place for the latest game trailers and video content. Goosey Gander, this one affected you personally. Tell me why.
I was a big fan of game trailers. They were a big influence on me, just both in a place to go and consume a lot of gaming-related media, but also the personalities on the show, or on the website, and the shows they made, and the interesting ways they found to talk about and express their love of gaming.
Yeah, I'm the same. I have a lot of affection for game trailers. I think it was that and Giant Bomb that really got me into sort of video content about video games.
Yeah.
And I remember watching like E3 press conferences for years and years covered by game trailers. And that used to be where I went. And I think that for me, and unfortunately, I guess a lot of people, I ended up shifting over to YouTube and seeing a lot of that stuff there. Or, you know, in the case of you ended up making a lot of that content yourself.
But I think you're right. That's I think one of the reasons this has happened is because a big site like GT can't compete now with that new wave media of things like Twitch and YouTube, which are there for the individual to be able to provide that content without all the overheads and without all the things that come from a traditional business like GT. And I think it was just an inevitable thing that was going to happen, which is sad. But at the same time, we're still getting that content, it's just delivered in a different way by different people. And it was sad because there were a lot of great individual talents that game trailers fostered that I watched growing up, and there were people like Ashley Birch from Hey Ash, What You Playing, Carl Bossman, who does the Final Bossman as well, and obviously one of the bigger ones was Brandon Jones, who was the guy who was the boss and founder, one of the co-founders, and he was the voice of all the reviews.
And that voice is just, that is a safety video game voice.
Isn't it? Yeah, and it's going to be sad, but at the same time, I'm sure these people have enough momentum, hopefully, to find a place out there in the gaming community to continue making content of somewhat in some way or another.
Well, I feel like this is one of these things because, you know, over the years we've seen a lot of these mainstream institutions sort of close down. A big one for me was when 1UP closed, and they were bought by Yu-Gi-Oh! I think in 2009, and then Ziff closed them down in 2013. That was really sad for me. But all the people there who have spent a career sort of critiquing video games, many of them ended up just going into video games. They became like PR, or some of them became developers, or going into sort of the community aspect of game companies.
Yeah.
And I think that it can be an opportunity for these people to shift to work into the industry they've so far, like for ages, just been looking at.
Yeah, but at the same time, we now have to sort of search them out in some way or another, or follow their careers, versus the thing that was so nice about GT was just, it was this hub, and it was one of the main bookmark tabs I had that I would always just go to religiously and just check out what they were doing. And a lot of the stuff they were doing in the later years when they were doing the layoffs was a lot more personality-focused content. So similar to what we do, they were putting their faces on camera and they were getting their opinions out, which was really refreshing, and it was nice to see the people behind the words.
Yeah.
And I think hopefully that will help them in the long run, because they will be able to take that newfound
Identity that they have,
and they can take that onto the internet and keep providing content and hopefully get jobs.
And before we finish this up, did you hear about the Bloodborne thing?
No.
So they kind of went out in a blaze of glory. Their final act before they shut down for the day was that they changed the score of Bloodborne. It was a 9.6, and they changed it to 10. And it's the only 10 that GameTrailers has ever awarded a video game. Their dying breath was like, Bloodborne is a 10.
Well, I think that it was their game of the year as well. So
Yeah,
it was just
right.
their way of going out, as you say, in a blaze of glory.
I dispute the one game in all those years is Bloodborne that you give a perfect 10 to, but I like the way that they did it.
And it was a game that everyone in that office loved so much when they talked about it with such passion, and so it encapsulates that office.
It's a GT moment to end.
Exactly.
Yeah, they definitely will be missed. All right, moving on now. It's Thing of the Day, and we're keeping in theme with the game trailers shutting. Thing of the Day. GameTrailers co-founder Brandon Jones gave an emotional goodbye during their impromptu farewell Twitch stream.
I hope that you can take everything that you learned here and that it's good for you. I don't know how much educating I've done. I've just had fun for 13 years. You know, it's all blur. It was a lot of fun. And I think in a weird way, if I am glad at all that it got shut down, it's because I could never leave. So it's like, well, at least somebody else made that decision, so I didn't have to, you know, come in and tell you guys for some dumb reason. Like, I don't want to work with you anymore. I want to do something else. Nothing has come up that I've wanted to do, so I'll have to figure out what that is. But thank you guys. You guys are amazing, but thank you.
Jonesy.
Thank you, Jones.
Thank you, Jones.
Thing of the Day.
Aww.
Yeah, okay, now it's talk through time where you suggest a topic and we talk through it. And today it's a lighter topic, so Johnny B45, you're up. When playing games, do you go out of your way to get that 100% completion? For example, the Assassin's Creed games, collecting every chest, every item, do every side quest? Or do you just play and finish the story to never pick that game up again? Loosey Goosey, do you have a completion compulsion?
I used to.
Yeah.
I don't anymore. I'm now someone who will hunt down smaller, shorter games that I can complete, because I don't have the time to...
You're a coward.
Yeah, I don't have the time to dive into something like the latest Assassin's Creed
Yeah.
and try and 100% that. And the reason I think is that more and more games today are just needlessly filled with clutter to keep you playing for longer, and there's nothing of real reward there.
Yeah, I definitely was someone who used to like a 100% team games, and it would happen, like, I used to do it with every Assassin's Creed game. And then when it stopped was, I got to Unity, and I couldn't unlock these chests unless I had a mobile app to unlock the chests in the actual game on my Xbox, and I just went, okay, I can't do this anymore. And I had to make peace with the fact that those little icons would be on the map, and since then, it's completely cured me of that sort of compulsion.
Because there is definitely a draw, looking at a map or looking at something with all these little collectibles there, you feel this impulse to go and find them all.
Yeah.
And I think the last game that I 100%ed was maybe the first Tomb Raider, the first of the reboots. But at least in that case, it was because all those collectibles and all those upgrades were doing something to my character. They
Yeah.
were making Lara a more kick-ass hero. Whereas something like Assassin's Creed is you're collecting, I don't know, feathers and
And
things that's
it's not
just...
a tangible sort of...
Yeah, exactly. That said, Black Flag, I almost got to 100%,
Yeah.
but I was playing at the same time as Peter, and Peter actually 100%ed it before me.
And of course, as we all know, only one person can 100%
Of course. No, I vicariously finished it through him. He was telling me,
Right.
it's like, oh, I've done everything. I was like, oh, that's great. I don't need to do it now.
And you're like, was it worth it? And he goes, no, not at all. It was a total
missed-
waste of my time.
We both almost missed out on a whole summer just playing Black Flag. But on top of that, Black Flag did have these songs as
The
collectibles.
sea shanty things?
Yes, and I think if you're going to put things in your games that are going to promote people to want to spend more time in them to hunt them down, they should be as rewarding as something like a
Yeah,
sea
that was
shanty.
a creative sort of way of doing
Yeah.
that.
I think there's something about the game design as well. It's often really rewarding when you're playing a game and you're just focusing on the main story or the main quest, and you find yourself actually picking up all these collectibles because they've been designed in a way that they're just off the beaten path.
Yeah.
And that can expand later on to be a much bigger task. But it gets you hooked from the start of actually finding these collectibles. I think if they kind of scattergun
Yeah.
right at the beginning, like a Assassin's Creed game, when you walk into a new city and you just look at this overwhelming map, or The Witcher,
Yeah.
and you just think, I don't know where to even start. I can't even see the right path to pick these things up. I find that's when I'll often just say, no, not even going to bother. But I think if a game can be a little more clever, and something like I think the Batman, latest Batman game, I found myself actually getting that percentage up just doing the main story because I was being gently coerced.
Pushed into certain areas. Every game should have the option on your map you can turn off icons.
Yes.
If I can just turn off all the icons of collectibles, then I'm fine. Because
Yeah.
the achievement doesn't matter to me. And the other way I've fixed this, play games you can never ever 100%. And not just because they're too big, but because they never finish. Play Hearthstone, play like a MOBA.
Yeah.
I'm playing Duelist now. These are games that never end.
And that-
so it's almost worse, but it's actually better from like just an emotional point
You
of view.
don't have that feeling from the beginning, that kind of anxiety as you play. You're just like, I know I can't finish this, so I'm going to
Yeah.
enjoy my time with
Yeah,
it.
it's not a feeling that I can't finish it. It's a feeling that I will never be truly great at this game.
It's a nice feeling.
Yeah, it's good to know that you suck. Let us know in the comments if you 100% games. Do you like those collectibles, or do you just find they are pointless busy work? And speaking of pointless busy work, suggest a talk through for tomorrow. And staying with pointless busy work, why don't you visit Good Game on Facebook, YouTube, and iView? Want to meet fellow Pocketeers? Then join the Pocketeers Facebook group and Steam group. You can follow Good Game on Twitter at GoodGameTV, follow Pocket at NickBoy, at Pierreth, and at GGEditMonkey. And staying with pointless busy work, he's at GooseMangus on Twitter. There are links to everything I just said in the description below. Today's Thing of the Day graphic was made by Jonathan Redding. Well done, Jonathan. Until tomorrow, NickBoy out.
Goose out. Back to more pointless busy work.
Yes.
You alright?